Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods, abbreviated as NITW, is a single-player adventure game. It was developed by Infinite Fall, a studio founded by game designer Alec Holowka and animator/artist Scott Benson, and published by Finji. Secret Lab, an Australian studio, built the game's narrative engine, and are creating the mobile version of the game using their sprite compression systems. It is a story-focused exploration game in which players control a young woman named May, who recently dropped out of college and has returned to her hometown to find unexpected changes. The game was funded via the crowdfunding platform Kickstarter, where it eventually earned over 400% of its $50,000 funding goal. A companion game titled Longest Night was released in December 2013 by Holowka and Benson, along with co-writer Bethany Hockenberry. In December 2014, a second supplemental game was released, titled Lost Constellation. The game was released for Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and PlayStation 4 on February 21, 2017. The Xbox One version was released on December 13, 2017, while a version for the Nintendo Switch was released on February 1, 2018. Versions for iOS are scheduled to arrive in 2019. An extended version of the game, titled The Weird Autumn Edition, was released for PC, Mac OS, Linux, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on December 13, 2017 and for Nintendo Switch on February 1, 2018. It features new content not seen in the original game, as well as the supplemental games. Night in the Woods received notable critical praise, mostly for its soundtrack, story, dialogue and characters. Overview. May, an only child, has returned home to Possum Springs, a town populated by zoomorphic humans. Now living in her parents' attic, she discovers how much times have changed since the closing of the town's coal mines, uncovering a dark mystery that leads her into the nearby woods. She is forced to confront a horrible secret the town has hidden for decades involving not only the town's mine, but also the recent disappearance of her longtime friend Casey. May's friends also include B, a cigarette-smoking crocodile, and May's childhood friend, Greg, a hyperactive fox, and his boyfriend, a bear named Angus. Pace describes the themes covered as mental illness, depression, the stagnancy of the middle and lower classes, and the slow death of small-town America. As May, players run, jump, and learn other mechanics that allow them to explore Possum Springs. Benson described the key actions for the player as explore, converse, see and touch, while Holowka described their approach as narrative-focused rather than gameplay-first. Players make decisions that affect the course of the story, though Benson said, "It's more like, do you hang out with this person? Okay, cool. That person might not know you as well by the end of the game, but this person you hung out with, you're going to get to see their storyline." Plot. Margaret May Borowski is a 20-year-old college dropout, who relocates back to her hometown of Possum Springs, which has been struck by the closure of the coal mines and a stagnating economy. She meets up with her old friends, including gloomy but intelligent Beatrice B. Santello, hyperactive anarchist troublemaker Gregory Greg Lee, and Greg's quiet, modest boyfriend Angus Delaney. May also learns that another one of her old friends, Casey Hartley, has mysteriously disappeared. May spends several days exploring Possum Springs and spending time with her friends, but she also begins to have strange and vivid dreams. At the town's Halloween festival, May witnesses a teenager being kidnapped by a mysterious figure. The four friends begin working together to figure out what is going on, with May's mental health slowly deteriorating with every one of her dreams. After intensive searching, the four stumble across a strange group of cloaked figures in the woods, who chase after them. May ends up falling and lapses into a coma. May eventually wakes up and returns to her friends, and she reveals that the reason she dropped out was due to her increasing dissociation from people in the world. It is implied that May suffers from some sort of depersonalization disorder, seeing everything as merely shapes. May's journal, in which she draws pictures for each major event in the game, was given to her by a doctor to write down her emotions after she bludgeoned a student with a softball bat 6 years ago as a result of a dissociative episode. Due to this incident, the townsfolk became wary of May and caused a financial and emotional strain in her family. As her dissociation worsened at college, May mustered up the strength to leave and return home, hoping that being back in Possum Springs would help her return to normal. Still wounded, May decides to venture out into the woods alone to find the group who chased her and the others, only for Greg, B, and Angus to refuse to let her go by herself. The group enter the old mines and meet the mysterious group, who are revealed to be a cult. The cult turns out to be behind the kidnappings of several residents, including Casey, taking those whom they deem useless to society and whom they say will not be missed into the mines to sacrifice them to a godlike chthonic entity called the Black Goat in exchange for keeping the economy of Possum Springs afloat. The cult's leader allows the group to leave, threatening them never to tell anyone about the cult. However, while riding up the mine's elevator, a member of the group attempts to kill May. The others manage to save her and the elevator falls, collapsing the mine and presumably trapping the cult underground. Depending on who the player interacted with the most throughout the course of the game, May will sit down with either B or Greg and talk about the events of the previous night, and all the things that have happened in Possum Springs. The others join them shortly after, and May tells them that although they will all be forced to grow and adapt to life as it goes on for better and for worse, they can still enjoy their time together now. The game ends as the four decide to forget about their problems for the time being and have band practice. Development. Night in the Woods was announced on October 22, 2013, on Kickstarter. Holowka and Benson set a $50,000 funding goal, which was reached in only 26 hours. The project eventually earned over $200,000 in crowdfunding. The additional funding allowed Infinite Fall to hire animator Charles Hutner to create additional animations, and for Infinite Ammo and game developer Adam Saltzman to create a roguelike that is playable within Night in the Woods. While Benson believed adding further stretch goals would result in additional backers, Infinite Fall limited the amount of stretch goals to avoid scope creep. Benson names Chris Ware, Mike Mignola, Mary Blair, Flannery O'Connor, and Richard Scarry as influences on his work on Night in the Woods. In October 2017, it was announced that the game would be ported to mobile devices by Secret Lab, with a tentative release set for 2018. In January 2018, the game was officially announced for the Nintendo Switch, and was released for the console the following month, including all content from the Weird Autumn Edition. Soundtrack. Developer Alec Holowka created the soundtrack for Night in the Woods. 3 albums of the game's music were released via Bandcamp on March 9, 2017. Holowka named Dive as a large influence on the game's score. Reception. Night in the Woods received very favorable reviews. On Metacritic, the PS4 version has an average score of 87 from 15 critics and the PC version has an average score of 88 from 30 critics. Praise is mainly given to the writing and characters. In his review of both Night in the Woods and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Ben Yahtzee Croshaw of Zero Punctuation called the game a solid worth checking out and complimented its strong writing while stating his reservations about the game's pacing and tone. In Japan, where the PlayStation 4 and Switch versions were ported and published by Playism on March 28, 2019, Famitsu gave them each a score of 1.8, 1.9, and 2.8s for a total of 33 out of 40. Eurogamer ranked the game 13th on their list of the top 50 games of 2017, and Games Radar Plus ranked it 17th on their list of the 25 best games of 2017, while Polygon ranked it 23rd on their list of the 50 best games of 2017. The game was nominated for Best Comedy Game in PC Gamer's 2017 Game of the Year Awards. It won the award for Best Adventure Game in IGN's Best of 2017 Awards, whereas its other nominations were for Best Art Direction, Best Story, and Best Original Music. In Giant Bomb's 2017 Game of the Year Awards, the game won the award for Best Cast of Characters, and was a runner-up each for Best Debut, Best Story, and Game of the Year. It also won the award for Best Character, May, and Best Dialogue in Game Informer's 2017 Adventure Game of the Year Awards. Before that, the game won the award Best 2D Visuals and the overall award Golden Cube in the Unity Awards 2017, whereas it was nominated for Best Desktop/Console Game. Awards Desktop/